KEYC News Now to Go is sponsored by River's Edge Hospital and Clinic. People caring for people.
Moments like these make life worth living. River's Edge Hospital and Clinic is your partner in taking control of your own health. Take your steps towards a lasting tomorrow. River's Edge Hospital.
Hello, good morning, and happy Monday. Thanks for joining us for this KEYC News Now to Go update. I'm Jackson Jirik, and to start our show, we are going to be joined by Chief Meteorologist Shawn Cable. Shawn, it's a Monday of all Mondays with the storm of the year so far coming up today. Shawn, there's tornadoes, there's hail possible, all of it possible, of course, with yet what to come. Shawn, I want to thank you for joining us here to start the show. I'll let you take it away.
Hey, Jackson. Yeah, this is a day we've been talking about for quite a while here, and we have a pretty good chance for strong to severe thunderstorms today. In fact, a very high severe weather risk, and this is kind of an unusual day because we have the ingredients, the instability, the spin in the atmosphere, or shear, if you will, all of the right ingredients to produce strong, potentially violent tornadoes, damaging wind gusts. So I don't want to scare you, but I do want to make sure that you stay weather aware, check the weather, check it often today because that's going to be very important. Our severe risk, highest from about Wilmer through Windham down to the Iowa Great Lakes. That is where we could see strong storms and tornadoes develop, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. I'll show you the futurecast, but I do want to show you this. This is the tornado risk area here, and 15%, that's pretty high and not a typical thing for our neck of the woods. This diagonal line thing that you see here, that indicates an enhanced area or an increased risk for large EF2 or larger tornadoes. And this is going to be one of those situations where most places won't get that, but there will be a couple of big storms, and the places where these storms develop, it could get pretty bad. So be paying attention, stay on top of things here throughout the day today. We are going to be watching very closely and we'll have updates. So we had one round that moved through this morning. Not really that big of a deal. There was some wind. We had about 0.07 of an inch of rain here at the TV station in North Mankato, but that's all moved through. And now we're going to have a little break from now through early afternoon. And what's going to happen, and one of the things that you can watch for, is breaks in the clouds. And where we have breaks in the clouds, that's where the sun is going to shine. We're going to warm up quickly, and that heat will be energy for storms that redevelop later this afternoon. So the more sunshine we get, the better chance we are to see some of these really strong storms developing. So watch for sunshine today. As we make our way through the afternoon, we're going to probably around 1 o'clock see storms developing Wilmer, somewhere Redwood Falls to Marshall down toward Pipestone, east of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and those storms will continue to develop as we make our way through the afternoon. And early on, we're going to see individual cells. You can kind of see those cells kind of popping up here, here, here. Those cells are going to be kind of on their own, and they're going to be able to suck up all that energy, and those are the cells that have the potential to produce tornadoes. Now, eventually, we're going to see everything kind of develop into a big line, and once we see that line, that's when the big threat's going to switch from tornadoes to damaging 60, 70, even 80-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts, although there could still be tornadoes embedded along this line. I'm thinking Mankato, North Mankato area, probably around 3 to 4 to 5 o'clock as we're going to see this move through. It will be earlier to the west, a bit later to the east. And then once we get through 5 o'clock, here we are at 6 o'clock, everything will eventually move off to the east. Now, we are going to be watching. There could be a couple of laggers back here, kind of straggling along. Hail and wind with those, but there could be a couple more strong storms that come in behind the main front. So we're going to be keeping an eye out for those as well. But most everything should be over and done with by, I'd say, sometime around 8, 9, 10 o'clock tonight as everything exits to the east. Strong storms and violent tornadoes, large hail, damaging wind gusts. Again, the thing you need to do today is just check the weather, check it often, keep your KEYC First Alert app handy. That's a great place to get the warnings and information and updates from the weather team. We're going to be on it. We're going to be watching it for you here throughout the day. It's going to be a warm and breezy, upper 70s to low 80s. 78 in Mankato with severe storms likely. The 10-day forecast doesn't have a whole lot going on here. 60 Tuesday, 68 Wednesday. We're going to gradually warm up, and actually through next week, things are looking pretty good. It's going to be mild with 70s through the weekend and into next week, and really nothing at this point major weather-wise other than today, first alert day. Again, Jackson, keep that first alert app handy so that you have the information you need throughout the day. The weather team's going to be working it. We're going to be here to take you through this whole thing throughout the day today. For now, back to you. We're going to be watching, and we'll have more as things develop this afternoon.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Shawn. We truthfully appreciate it. We'll continue with local news coverage. Representative Angie Craig, Democrat who represents District 2 from Cottage Grove in the South Metro to Cleveland in southern Minnesota, wrapped up her series of town halls in Mankato late Friday evening. About 100 people were in attendance at the event at MSU's Mankato's Ostrander Auditorium. Democratic Senator Nick Frentz moderated. The audience didn't ask the questions. Republicans like Representative Brad Finstead, who represents Mankato, have criticized Craig, calling this tour a campaign event. Topics included the Farm Bill, tariffs, and cuts to education funding. The National Education Association says Title I grants would affect 26 million students nationwide. Last month, President Trump directed the Secretary of Education to take all necessary steps to facilitate the closure of the Department of Education. Craig saying on Friday the only institution that can kill the Department of Education is Congress.
I'm going to keep calling out my Republican colleagues who refuse to stand up and do something about it when they're the ones who have the power within the party to say no.
In addition to Mankato, Representative Craig also hosted town halls last week in St. Cloud, Grand Rapids, and Wilmer. Speculation is growing that Craig plans to run for the retiring Tina Smith's U.S. Senate seat. In the United States news, an HBCU in North Carolina is reeling from a deadly shooting yesterday. Officials say Elizabeth City State University is not under any current threat or lockdown order. Amy Kyler reports on the violence that unfolded as students were wrapping up several days of festivities.
I heard the gunshots through my window and through the walls.
One person is dead and 6 are injured after a shooting at a historically black university on the North Carolina coast yesterday.
It was scary for real. Like, I was over there talking to one of my friends and just seeing a lot of people running.
Elizabeth City State University says the person who died was a 24-year-old man who was not a student. But it says 3 of the gunshot victims attend the school, along with 2 others hurt in the commotion.
Praying for them, praying for their families.
The school says none of the injuries are life-threatening. It says the shooting took place at the center of campus in the early morning.
It finally clicked, this happened right outside my door.
The university says it had just finished a multi-day celebration involving both alumni and students called Viking Fest.
I had left right before all of this had transpired, but I had heard the gunshots from my dorm. And then I had got a phone call saying that some people had got shot.
The school is near the border with Virginia, and it's part of the North Carolina University system. It enrolls just over 2,000 students.
We're a family. It's a small school, small HBCU, so everybody knows everybody. It's a small family, so just make sure your family's okay.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Closer to Minnesota, a Milwaukee judge has been released from federal custody after the FBI arrested her last week, alleging she interfered with an immigration operation. A criminal complaint now unsealed in the case against Judge Hannah Dugan in the Eastern District of Wisconsin. She allegedly obstructed the detention of an undocumented immigrant who is appearing in her court on another matter. ICE agents were waiting outside her courtroom with an administrative immigration warrant to arrest Eduardo Flores Ruiz as he left. That's when Dugan allegedly escorted the man and his defense attorney through a non-public jury door to leave the court. She faces charges of obstructing or impeding a proceeding before a department or agency of the United States, as well as a charge of concealing an individual to prevent his discovery and arrest. The ICE team was able to track down the man and take him into custody. In world news, the Vatican says the conclave will elect a new pope beginning on May 7th. The date was decided today after cardinals met behind closed doors for the first time since the funeral of Pope Francis. The conclave will take place in the Sistine Chapel, and only cardinals under the age of 80 are allowed to vote. If a candidate receives 2/3 of the total vote, he will become the next pope. The late pontiff died of a stroke and heart failure on Easter Monday. He was laid to rest in a simple tomb Saturday following a funeral mass on the steps of the St. Peter's Basilica. Well, that'll do it. Thank you for watching this KEYC News Now to Go update. Stay with KEYC News Now for the latest local news, weather, and sports on our website. And especially today, don't forget to download the free KEYC News and weather apps for the latest headlines and forecast.